Smurfy greetings, YouTubers. It is I3 Hellgear, and I want to bring up a little bit of discussion for everyone playing Smurfs Epic Run alongside myself. So, first and foremost, I would like everyone's opinions in the comments section below. Let me know what you think of this little discussion. You can already tell who this is going to be about. I want to hear your points on the matter, and hopefully you can agree or disagree with my points. But in any case, I would love to hear your feedback on this, simply because we're all players of this game and we enjoy it. So, without further ado, let's get into this discussion. Now, here's the thing. I've talked with multiple Smurfs communities, some with players that have Smurfs Epic Run, and the question has come up. Are there too many versions of Smurfette in the game? And we all agree the answer is yes. Now, the other question is, what if the development team of Smurfs Epic Run decided, well, we're only going to make a couple more versions of Smurfette and then no more versions of Smurfette for the rest of the game? I say, as I've said many times during my runs, they should only have one more variation of Smurfette. Now, of those other variations of Smurfette, people have their choices on which one should be included into the game. So, before I get into that, I want to talk about the current versions of Smurfette that are in Smurfs Epic Run up to this date, June 27th at the time of this recording. And I'm going to start with the versions of Smurfette you can obtain by level. And you guys let me know if you're happy with seeing more Smurfette versions, if you want to see other variations of Smurfette or not. So, on the left we have the original version of Smurfette. Now, Smurfette's ability is simple. She has the best glide in the game. And in addition to that glide, she can take a hit. So essentially she's an upgraded version of Dr. Smurf. But it's a very unique ability for her, being able to have a one hit point and the best glide in the game. Now, later on in the autumn section, you get the Great Smurfette. Now, the Great Smurfette, I'm not that far, but her ability is nothing to do with gliding. She takes 2 hits, and I believe she gets 2 flying keys when you complete a flying key stage. Then in the Christmas section, you get Christmas Smurfette, whose ability works in the tournament because she runs slower. These are the versions of Smurfette that you can get just by normally going through the map. You can see she wears a lot of things. So, I want to talk next about the ones that you can get in the shop. And I'm going to go in order here. So, first and foremost, well, I can't say order. I'm going to go from least expensive to most expensive. We have Relay Runner Smurfette, who was introduced when the stadium from the tournament thing got updated and we got the stadium. Now, how does Relay Runner Smurfette work again? It's double jumps and a starting boost. At least that's the gist of it, And when she shows up in the shop, you can buy her for 20 bucks. Next up is Princess Smurfette. And Princess Smurfette is one of the most powerful Smurfs in the game. The Smurfs Epic Run development team has mentioned that. Now, Princess Smurfette costs $40. And I've gone on record by saying this, and I still stick to my saying this. If her price came down to 20 bucks, I'd get her. So what does Princess Smurfette do? Well, in addition to stomping... Oh, wait, no. Really Runner Smurfette doesn't stomp, she has double jump. It's double jump and boost. Okay, Princess Smurfette has stomp and the permanent rainbow ability. You know, and her inclusion was when we went to the Edge Forest, you know, the forest right after the magma section. Which brings me to the section after that, the Summer Paradise. And you have Wahina Smurfette, dead in the middle. Now, Wahina Smurfette's sale is for 50 bucks, but she comes not only with herself, but with Lifeguard Smurf. So essentially she's $25. Wahina Smurfette has the gliding ability like the original Smurfette, but when she opens up a cage, she frees 2 Smurfs instead of 1. Now, in the previous update, when we got the sunny fields for the spring section, we were introduced to Spring Smurfette, and Spring Smurfette is 50 bucks. And she's essentially an upgraded version of the original Smurfette. You get 2 hearts, you still have the best glide in the game, and it's boosting. Now, as pretty as that looks, still, that $50 price tag is just way too much. And then lastly, the recent event where we have the Mayan Temple and the Lost Temple, which gave us Explorer Smurfette. Now, the funny thing about Explorer Smurfette is she was one of 2 Smurfs, the other being Fakir Smurf, that you could get during the Love Garden. We got to vote on them, and I'll be honest with you, I voted for Fakir, that's F-A-K-I-R, but I mentioned in my tweet, I vote for Fakir, but what about the players who want both? And when I got the Mayan Temple update and saw her in the shop, I was like, oh, they gave us both after all. Now here's the thing. Explorer Smurfette is one of 3 Smurfs bundles that cost 100 bucks. So, what does she do? She has permanent invincibility, permanent magnet, and she has the dash ability. Again, these are the 5 versions of Smurfette that you can get in the shop, in addition to the 3 you can find on the map, bringing up a total of 8. Well, it's nice that you're mentioning that Smurfette has too many versions, 3 Hell Gear. But what about the many versions of Papa Smurf? I will get to that in another video, another discussion video. So as you can clearly see, the answer to, is there too many Smurf variations of Smurfette? The answer is yes. There's a lot of Smurfette. I mean, we get it. Everyone loves Smurfette. She is the blonde, blue-skinned beauty of the Smurfs. You know, we enjoyed Lucille Bliss, the late Lucille Bliss, when she voiced Smurfette. We somewhat enjoyed Katy Perry when she voiced Smurfette. And a lot of us are enjoying Demi Lovato, who is the current voice of Smurfette. Now, let's get into answering the other question. If they were to add another Smurfette, or another variation of Smurfette, which would they be? And I've said one specific variation of Smurfette, and I'm going to do that one last. But I want to talk about the other variations of Smurfette that people from my other Smurf community have mentioned should be put into the game. And I'm going to talk about each of these cases. So here we go. First on the left is Black Smurfette. Now, I'll be honest with you, when the people in my gaming community, not my gaming community, but my Smurfs community mentioned they would like to see Black Smurfette in the game, I thought to myself, well, we have the Black Smurf in the shop. So it only makes sense that you will want to have the Black Smurfette in the game. You know, we've seen the episode of the Black Smurfs, which in many countries it was censored due to racial reasons, and they were colored purple. But originally, Peo made it so that they were black. Again, it's a really good case because we have the Black Smurf. The Black Smurf is available in the shop. And of course, for original purposes, they said, well, let's give us the original Smurfette, which is in the middle. Everyone knows, or at least should know, if you've seen The Lost Village, or if you've read the original comic, or paperback book like I did of Smurfette. Smurfette was originally evil. I've mentioned this during my play of Smurfs Epic Run. She was created simply as a weapon to cause disrupt in the world of the Smurfs. As you can see, she has a big nose. Now, a lot of people don't realize this version of Smurfette was used primarily as the model for many of the girls in the Lost Village. This very Smurfette. Then again, the art book of the Lost Village confirms that claim because all of the girls are modeled off of the Smurfette model. But anyway, for nostalgic purposes and for authentic purposes of authenticity, they would like to see the original version of Smurfette in the game, which the art book of the Lost Village refers to as Evil Smurfette. And Evil Smurfette makes a really good case. Then on the right, we have Smurfette's swoofified version, which is Swoofette, during the whole Dreamy Smurfs escapade. Now, in the space version of the map, we get Grandpa Swoof, who is the swoofified version of Papa Smurf. And what struck me odd was how we didn't get Swoofette. Now, in all honesty, I would have liked to chose Swoofette. Then again, Swoofs are not technically Smurfs. You know, they had to drink a potion to become Swoofs. Again, if you ever watch like Astro Smurfs episodes, you'll understand the whole deal with the Swoofs. So, now comes the interesting part. And this is something that the Smurfs Epic Run development team is probably asking me as they watch this on the screen, if they are watching, is what abilities would you give these versions of Smurfette? And you know, this was something that I asked about in the Smurfs community as well. So, what they would do is this. For Black Smurfette, they would make it so that she is immune to ground enemies only. Now, let me put a pause on this one real quick because I want to talk about the other two Smurfs who have enemy immunity. First is Officer Smurf, who is immune to all enemies. And secondly, we have Smurfstorm, who is available in the shop for $20. And in addition to Smurfstorm's triple jump, she is immune to flying enemies only. So she can still be taken out by the ground mushroom dudes and the spiky ground mushroom dudes. But like the dragonflies and the flying mushroom guys, those guys won't hurt her. So that's the ability they would give to the Black Smurfette. Okay. Now, Evil Smurfette is a little different because I've heard this ability, and I've mentioned this when I took the Smurfs Epic Run survey, and they would give her a glue immunity. Now, I'll be real. I only think one Smurf should have glue immunity, and that is Sweepy Smurf, or Chimney Sweep Smurf, depending on where you are. And that is something I said when I took the Smurfs Epic Run survey, which the very first one. I said if I would add Sweepy Smurf to the game, his ability would be glue immunity. But in addition to glue immunity, they would also give Evil Smurfette the Stomp ability. I'll be real. The Stomp ability is one of those abilities that I think they could expand more on. The Smurfs Epic Run development team could expand more on. I mean, take a look at the glide. We have 3 variations of glide. We have slight glide, we have medium glide, and we have big glide. And I figured, why don't you have this level of variation for stomping and dashing? You know, you could have like a level 2 stomp for Evil Smurfette. Now, if it were up to me, if Ubisoft came to me and said, okay, 3 Hell Gear Luck, we want to put Evil Smurfette in the game, but we're kind of at an impasse on what ability to give her. You play this game on your channel. What ability would you give the Black Smurfette? I'll talk about that one in a minute. But what ability would I give Evil Smurfette? Since a lot of these Smurfs are starting off with boosts, I would have Evil Smurfette start off with invincibility at the beginning of your stage. She just gets the beginning invincibility, you know. And I'm gonna go with the Stomp too, simply because stomping is nice. Now, Black Smurfette, I do like the whole ground enemy immunity thing. That would be cool. You know, I would say let her take 1 hit and then have ground immunity, but that would be unbalanced. So I'm gonna go with the Smurfs community and say, if Ubisoft, the Smurfs Epic Run development team, asked me what ability I would give Black Smurfette, I would give her ground enemy immunity, just like the community. Now, Smurfette is a little bit of a different story. I'm kind of at an impasse on what ability I would give her. I would probably give her dash and permanent double coins. That would be the ability that I give her. You know, that sort of thing. Now, I've said this during my runs, there's only one variation of Smurfette that I would put into the game and then no more. And this variation of Smurfette isn't actually based off of the actual Smurfette, and that is Clockwork Smurfette. I've mentioned this before, as I said, and this is the Smurfette that I would put in the game. Clockwork Smurfette. And I find it odd how Smurfs Epic Run hasn't placed Clockwork Smurfette, let alone Clockwork Smurf, into the game yet. I know Smurfs Village has both of them. So let's get into the abilities here for a moment here. What would I give Clockwork Smurfette? Okay. You know, I would do this. I would give her permanent magnet, and she can take 1 hit. That's what I would give her. You know, it's not too big of an issue. Nothing really overbalanced like boost or something like that. I still don't understand the premise of boost. Is boost like the highest level of dash you can get in the game? Let me know in the comment section below if you think that. But yes, permanent magnet and can take 1 hit. Smurfette has many versions, as I've shown you. There are 8 different variations of Smurfette. Plus, the community believes that these 3 would be nice additions to the game. Like I said, Black Smurfette, Evil Smurfette, Swoofette, really good cases. They have really good cases to be made for being added to Smurfs Epic Run. If it were me, I would just go with the Clockwork Smurfette. You know, I like Clockwork Smurfette. She was made by Handy after all. But anyway, that's going to be my wrap up for this whole deal on the Smurfette discussion. I will also do a Papa Smurf discussion too, just to be fair, because you can't say you can't rip on having too many Smurfettes when there are a lot of variations of Papa Smurf as well. So that is coming. Again, I would like to hear the comments of all the other Smurfs Epic Run players. I would like to hear your points on this matter. If you agree with or disagree with what I've just said. If you have any other variations of Smurfette that you would put into the game. What would they be, and what abilities would you give them? Granted, try to make them balanced. You don't want to have an OP version of Smurfette like Explorer Smurfette is and have it cost $100 in the shop. Now, for the sake of the argument, because I'm just now getting this question stuck in my head that was not asked about the Smurfs community, is where would you find the said Smurfs? You know, would I put Black Smurfette in the shop, Evil Smurfette in the shop, Clockwork Smurfette in the shop, Smurfette in the shop? No. I would not put any other variation of Smurfette in the shop. Okay? This is how I would do it. In the next two sections of the map, the next two expansions of the map, actually no, I'm lying. The next 4 expansions of the map, I would make it so that when you complete the collection piece, you would unlock a new Smurf. We haven't had Smurfs unlocked in the collection piece, assembling on collection pieces, since Brainy and Baby Smurf. And if it was up to me, and I was the one to shoot for Clockwork Smurfette, I would have her as a unlocked via full collection of the next map. One of the 2 next map areas. So in one area you would get Clockwork Smurf as unlockable through the collection. You would have Clockwork Smurfette unlockable through a collection. You know, if the team asked me about Smurfette, I would probably have her unlocked from the chest. The same goes for Black Smurfette. I would have her unlocked in the chest. You know, Evil Smurfette, I would probably, if it was up to me, and they said, well, we don't want to give you Black, Clockwork Smurfette, or Smurfette, but we do like the case that you made for Evil Smurfette. How would you put her? Well, I would either put her in a golden chest, or I would have her as an unlock in the stadium. Now, I'll be real, having her as an unlock in the stadium seems very far-fetched, you know, because we have Referee Papa, Basketball Smurf, Winner Smurf, that jazz. Some would say, and some would argue, maybe make them the variation of Smurfette that they want to add one more to as one you earn by completing an epic adventure. Now, I don't know too many people who have cleared all the epic adventures. I only know 2 people who have cleared all of the epic adventures. And to place Evil Smurfette as a prize in the epic adventure would be very, very out there. Because if someone's already cleared all of the epic adventures, they will have missed out on Evil Smurfette. Let me know what you think. So, just to recap, do you guys feel there are too many versions of Smurfette? If the Smurfs Epic Run development team asked you about adding a new variation to Smurfette for the game, what variation of Smurfette would it be? What powers would that variation of Smurfette have? And where would you unlock it? Would you unlock it as... Would you unlock her from a said stage? Would you put her in a chest? Would you put her in the shop? Or would you take a page from me with Clockwork Smurfette, make her an unlockable from a collection? Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Share this discussion with your Smurf communities. I want to hear from everybody who plays this game. I want to hear what you guys think. And if you did put them in the shop, how much would she cost? So keep that in mind too. But for now, I take my goose from the oven because I'm done. I'll see you guys in the comment section below.